What happens when a normal office worker who nobody notices or thanks suddenly ends up in a world of demons, magic, and war? This is the story of Dennosuke Uchimura, a regular office worker who finds himself in a strange land filled with demons, magic, and danger. Watch how he uses his brain and everyday skills to survive, become a leader, and show that even a normal person can do amazing things. Before we start this exciting story, please hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what happens next. Our story begins in a dark, scary castle. The Demon Lord calls his 4 elite generals to meet with him. These generals are super strong warriors who help the Demon Lord rule the world. First is Olmandra, the firefighter, who can control fire that burns everything it touches. Next is Sylphid, master of storms, who can make lightning and storms strong enough to destroy whole cities. Then there's Gnome, the earth protector, who is as strong as rock and can crush armies easily. But today there's someone new with them, Dennosuke Uchimura, a man from another world. He doesn't know why he's here or how he got picked, but now he stands next to these famous fighters. What makes him special? Why did the Demon Lord choose him? Before all this, Dennosuke was just an office worker at a company. He worked very hard, but his bosses never noticed him. His coworkers got better jobs, but he got nothing for all his hard work. Even though he tried his best, nobody saw how good he was. They sent him to work at a factory in Vietnam. There, he had very little to work with, but still did a good job. Just when things were getting better, they moved him again. Feeling sad and confused about his life, he suddenly finds himself in this new world, standing in front of the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord tells him that he has been brought here to be one of the 4 elite generals of the demon army. Dennosuke is shocked and worried because he doesn't have any special powers. But the Demon Lord sees something special in Dennosuke's office skills and how he talks to people. The Demon Lord thinks these skills will help the demon army. Dennosuke's new job title is Overseas Manager of the Demon Army, which sounds funny for a demon job. The Demon Lord welcomes Dennosuke and explains his new job. Dennosuke is surprised and asks why a simple office worker like him would be picked. The Demon Lord has done his homework. He likes how Dennosuke can change with new situations, work with people, and fix problems. This makes him perfect for the job. The job comes with good benefits, power to make decisions, and the chance to pick his own team. Dennosuke, who is used to being ignored, is interested but not sure. Right then, he remembers how badly he was treated at his old job. His bosses never respected him and only used him when it was good for them. He wonders if the same thing will happen here. The Demon Lord, seeing that Dennosuke is worried, tells him that his worth isn't decided by his old bosses. He says Dennosuke has great potential, and this new job will let him rise to the top. Before Dennosuke can decide, Olmandra and the other generals complain. They don't think a weak human should be one of the 4 elite generals. The Demon Lord understands their concerns and suggests a test. If Dennosuke can prove himself, he will earn his place with them. Dennosuke is nervous, saying he doesn't have any special abilities. But the Demon Lord thinks this challenge is interesting and goes ahead with the test. Olmandra, wanting to prove Dennosuke doesn't belong, decides to test him herself. She attacks him with a powerful move, but before she can hit him, the Demon Lord stops her. He tells her that losing control because of anger is a weakness she needs to fix. Meanwhile, Dennosuke is so scared that he faints right there. The generals are not impressed and start to doubt if he's really right for the job. The real test is now announced. Dennosuke's first task as a possible elite general is to make a deal with the Minotaur tribe, who have been hard to work with. The other generals, especially Olmandra, doubt Dennosuke's abilities and think he's not right for the job. To prove himself, Dennosuke must successfully talk with the Minotaur tribe and get them to trust him. Olmandra, still not believing in him, takes him to meet the Minotaur tribe's leader, Certerius. When they arrive, Dennosuke is shocked by how huge Certerius is. Dennosuke meets with Certerius, the chief of the Minotaur tribe. At first, the talks seem impossible, as Certerius keeps saying nay. Dennosuke notices that this is because Olmandra is yelling too loudly, which seems to be making things worse. After watching for a while, Dennosuke thinks that Olmandra is really bad at talking to others. But Dennosuke stays calm and keeps trying. He remembers a similar situation from his office job, where a customer's emotional responses were misunderstood as saying no. Realizing that different cultures might be causing the misunderstanding, Dennosuke decides to try a different way to talk to Certerius. By watching carefully, Dennosuke figures out that the Minotaur tribe isn't saying no. They're actually showing they're interested. Dennosuke noticed that Certerius was upset because someone had taken away the hay from the room. For Minotaurs, having hay around is very important to their culture. When Dennosuke brought back the hay, he showed that he respected their ways. This small but thoughtful act helped build trust. Certerius was so happy with Dennosuke's understanding that he agreed to join the demon army. The next day, Olmandra is shocked to learn that the talks worked. Certerius has agreed to be friends with the demon army. She can't believe that Dennosuke, a human with no fighting skills, did what others couldn't do for so long. Dennosuke explains that the whole problem was just a misunderstanding. Sir Terrius was never really against being friends, he was just sharing his worries in his own way, which the demons didn't understand correctly. Dennosuke's success impresses the Demon Lord and the other generals, especially Omandra, who starts to see how special he is. The Demon Lord officially welcomes Dennosuke as one of the 4 elite generals, giving him the title of Overseas Manager. Dennosuke's ability to handle tricky talks and understand different cultures turns out to be very helpful for the demon army. The Demon Lord gave Dennosuke a beautiful bracelet to wear, showing his new role as one of the 4 elite generals. This bracelet wasn't just a sign of his job, but also showed that the demon army trusted and respected him. Dennosuke thinks about his new and surprising life. He never thought he would end up in another world, let alone become one of the big 4 in the demon army. At first he didn't believe in himself, but now he wants to show everyone what he can do. The demon army is well organized, and Dennosuke even has his own office. Still, he knows the real challenges and the jobs waiting for him. Dennosuke's first task is to meet the other members of the Big 4. He starts by visiting Sylphid, the Storm Master, but learns that Sylphid hasn't been around for a while. Instead, he meets Belinda, Sylphid's helper, who promises to tell Sylphid about Dennosuke's visit. Even though this meeting doesn't go as planned, Dennosuke stays focused and moves on to his next job. The Demon Lord gives Dennosuke an important mission, to make a deal with the Ogre tribe. The Ogres are a strong race with a lot of influence over nearby tribes. They are almost as powerful as the demon army, so they could be a valuable friend, or a dangerous enemy. The Demon Lord explains that the Ogres have been very careful about sharing information, which makes talks hard. Still, he believes Dennosuke's office skills make him the right person for the job. Dennosuke and Omandra go to meet Genome, the leader of the half-human troops, to gather information. Genome warns them that Ogre, the ogre leader, is a powerful and smart ruler who tightly controls what information gets out. This makes talks even harder. Dennosuke, with Omandra, travels to the Ogre land to meet Ogre. However, they have to wait a long time before being allowed inside. Dennosuke recognizes this as a trick, similar to what he saw in his office job. He tells Omandra to stay calm and not let Ogre make them angry. When they finally meet Ogre, the leader is both mean and dismissive. He makes a shocking demand. He wants the head of the Demon Lord in exchange for friendship. Despite this, Dennosuke stays calm. He realizes that Ogre is testing them and trying to make them angry. Instead of getting mad, Dennosuke politely asks for time to think about the offer and leaves the meeting without causing any trouble. After the tense meeting, Dennosuke and Omandra are approached by Oral, Ogre's daughter. She reveals the hard truth about her tribe. Her father is very sick, and the Ogre tribe is struggling just to get enough food. She explains that their once powerful tribe is now getting weaker, and her father's refusal to change is making things worse. Oral shares this secret information, hoping Dennosuke and Omandra will understand how urgent their situation is. However, Dennosuke reminds her that sharing such secrets is risky. Oral believes that the only way to save her tribe is to join the demon army. Oral makes a bold request. She asks Dennosuke to marry her and become the new leader of the Ogre tribe. She believes that Dennosuke's leadership skills can help save her people. Dennosuke is surprised by the sudden proposal, but promises to think about it. He realizes that the Ogre tribe situation is more complicated than he first thought. Dennosuke comes up with a clever plan to pressure Ogre into talks. He decides to first make friends with the smaller tribes around the Ogre territory. By doing this, he hopes to isolate the Ogres and leave them with no choice but to join the demon army. He calls this plan the Surround the Big Company strategy, inspired by his experience in the office world. In his previous life, he used a similar approach to handle bigger, more stubborn companies. Dennosuke successfully convinces the surrounding tribes to join the demon army. A week later, when Ogre finds out about this, he becomes very angry and accuses Dennosuke of plotting against him. However, Dennosuke calmly explains that the tribes joined because they wanted to. He emphasizes that the Ogre tribe's help is important for keeping peace in the region. Oral steps in during the heated talk and confronts her father. She reminds him of his poor health and the hard times their tribe is facing. She urges him to consider joining the demon army for the good of their people. Ogre, though at first resistant, starts to see the sense in her argument. In the end, Ogre agrees to think about an alliance, though he insists on calling it a partnership rather than a merger. Dennosuke's plan works, and the Ogre tribe agrees to become a friend of the demon army. This victory not only makes the demon army stronger, but also builds Dennosuke's reputation as a skilled talker and leader. As a result of the successful deal, deal, Oral is sent to the demon army as the official messenger of the ogre tribe. She offers to work with Dennosuke, and he happily accepts her as part of his team. Omandra becomes angry with Dennosuke when he casually agrees to work with Oral as his partner. She feels that he's moving too quickly and not thinking about what this means. She sees Oral as a rival and is frustrated that Dennosuke is so quick to trust someone they've just met. Meanwhile, Dennosuke thinks about the challenges ahead. He knows that with great power comes great responsibility, and he must be ready to face the risks that come with his new role. After successfully making a deal with the ogres, Dennosuke continues his work in the office. Oral, the ogre messenger, tells Dennosuke that his talk with the Bearman tribe was successful. She praises his ability to organize conditions and reach agreements efficiently. Dennosuke is surprised by the praise, as he was never thanked in his previous office job. Oral also mentions that Dennosuke will get a reward for his efforts in helping the demon army and the ogre tribe become friends. This news excites Dennosuke, and he feels proud of what he's done in his new role. Before Dennosuke can think too much about it, Omandra arrives with food. However, the demon army's main dish, gim porridge, is very plain and has no taste, leaving Dennosuke wanting something more flavorful. Noticing his disappointment, Omandra suggests they go hunting for meat. She explains that a dangerous magical beast has been causing problems and has already killed several orcs. Since food supplies are running low, hunting the beast would not only provide better food but also help the army. Dennosuke agrees and they head out together. While tracking the beast, they discover it has been attacking orcs near a mushroom field. They wait, and soon a massive magical boar appears. Omandra takes charge, showing off her fighting skills. She jumps above the boar to attack, knowing it cannot defend from above. Although she is strong, her weapon isn't powerful enough to kill the beast quickly. This forces her to use a magic spell that changes her form, which makes her tired but gives her a short power boost. She defeats the boar, leaving Dennosuke amazed by her raw strength. After the hunt, Dennosuke and Omandra prepare boar meat. Omandra tries to cook it, but her way makes the meat burnt and bitter. Dennosuke steps in to show her how to cook it right. He removes the gamey smell and grills it slowly. He also makes a tasty mushroom pork soup. Dennosuke explains that good cooking methods, like soaking the meat and grilling at the right heat, can make food taste better. He also points out that they don't have many cooking tools, which is why the army's food doesn't taste good. Omandra sees how skilled he is. She realizes that even small things like better cooking can make a big difference. This makes her respect Dennosuke more. They go back to the city using magic light to see in the dark. On the way, they talk about how demons and demi-humans have different abilities and problems. Dennosuke notices that demons like Omandra wear less clothing and use a lot of magic. He learns that for demons, having strong muscles shows honor and magical power. This explains why Omandra got upset when Dennosuke told her to wear more clothes. Dennosuke realizes his comments about clothes and weapons were rude and misunderstood. He says sorry to Omandra, but the mix-up creates bad feelings between them. Omandra thinks Dennosuke doesn't value her work and starts to doubt if she deserves to be one of the big four. The demon lord sees the tension between Dennosuke and Omandra and tells him to fix their problem. He explains that their fight shows the cultural differences between their worlds. The demon lord tells Dennosuke to learn more about demon culture and make things right with Omandra. Dennosuke thinks about what happened and knows he needs to change. He sees that his ideas about clothes and weapons came from his own world and don't work here. Dennosuke starts reading about the differences between demi-humans and demons. He learns that in this world, demons are known for their magic and their revealing clothes, which show honor and strength. For demons, having strong muscles is something to be proud of because it makes their magic stronger. On the other hand, demi-humans, like the orcs and ogres, use their natural strength more than magic. Dennosuke understands he was wrong and decides to apologize to Omandra for being rude. Meanwhile, Omandra tells Oral about her feelings, saying, "Uchimura never says nice things about my body." Oral explains that Dennosuke comes from a different culture where showing skin isn't seen as a sign of strength or honor. This helps Omandra understand Dennosuke better, but she still feels hurt by what he said earlier. Dennosuke goes to Omandra and says sorry for his comments. He explains that he didn't mean to hurt her feelings, and that he now understands why her clothing and fighting style are important. Omandra, though still a bit upset, appreciates that Dennosuke is trying to understand her world. At the awards ceremony, the demon lord praises Uchimura's work. As a reward, he gives him a special magic stone. Uchimura feels honored and says thank you, but he insists that he didn't do it alone. In a surprising move, he gives the stone to Omandra, saying it belongs to both of them. Omandra is shocked and nervous because giving a magic stone to someone of the opposite sex is like asking them to marry you in demon culture. She hesitates but finally accepts, leaving everyone in the room surprised. The next day, the demon lord calls for Uchimura. Uchimura thinks he did something wrong and says sorry before he even knows why he was called. But the demon lord tells him not to worry. He says Uchimura doesn't believe in himself enough, even though he has done great things. Instead of punishing him, the demon lord gives Dennosuke a new job, to find a way for demi-humans to use magic. Right now, only demons can use magic, which creates a big difference in power and makes demi-humans feel left out. The Demon Lord explains that if demi-humans can use magic, it will help bring the two races together and make the demon army stronger. He gives Dennosuke a rare and powerful magic stone and assigns Sylphid, a famous magic researcher, to help him with the task. After the meeting, as Dennosuke leaves the Demon Lord's hall, Omandra watches from far away, wondering what new job the Demon Lord has given him. Dennosuke sits in his room thinking hard about how to use the magic stone. Just then, Oral walks in and he asks her for advice. Meanwhile, Oral tells Uchimura about magic stones. She explains that while they have magical power, you need skill to use them. This means just having magic stones won't let demi-humans use magic well. Ready to start his mission, Uchimura visits Sylphid's laboratory. He meets Sylphid's assistant, Belinda, who says Sylphid isn't there. But Uchimura quickly figures out that Belinda is actually Sylphid in disguise. He knows this because demons usually care about physical strength, and wearing glasses just to see better is unusual. Also, there is no Belinda in the demon army records. Lastly, the Demon Lord had warned him that Sylphid often disguises himself to avoid work. Omandra stands outside, watching Dennosuke go into a room with Belinda, who is really Sylphid in disguise. Omandra doesn't know that Belinda is Sylphid, so she gets jealous and suspicious. She wonders why Dennosuke is going into a room alone with another woman, especially after he gave her the magic stone as a sign of friendship. Omandra's jealousy grows as she imagines the worst, thinking that Dennosuke might like Belinda romantically. This misunderstanding adds humor and tension to the story, as Omandra's feelings for Dennosuke become more clear. Sylphid finally admits who he really is and agrees to help Dennosuke, though he doesn't want to create a new magical device at first. Sylphid reveals that he has already created a powerful magical device called Rosemarin, but it costs too much to make because magic stones are expensive. Dennosuke and Sylphid start working together to create a cheaper version of Rosemarin. Dennosuke suggests making the device simpler by limiting it to one type of magic. This would let them use cheaper magic stones and lower the cost a lot. Sylphid is impressed by Dennosuke's smart thinking and agrees to the plan. The two work hard all night to develop a test version. They work well together, with Dennosuke's problem-solving skills from his office job helping Sylphid's magic knowledge. By morning, they successfully create a new version of Rosemarin that is both affordable and works well. Before they can celebrate, an emergency happens. A flock of Asiato birds, big aggressive creatures, attacks nearby villages. The Demon Lord tells everyone to act quickly. Omandra is told to protect 3 villages by herself, but she insists on going with Uchimura. Seeing a chance to test it, Uchimura suggests using the new device to help in the fight. They go to an open field to test the Rosemarin device. Uchimura feels nervous about whether it will work, but Sylphid tells him not to worry, saying it's safe, though she jokes that, at worst, he might lose an arm. Following her instructions, Uchimura focuses his energy into the device and successfully makes fire magic. With the birds coming closer, they get ready for real combat. At first, Uchimura manages to hit enemies, feeling powerful with the device, but the magic stone inside burns out quickly, making the device useless. Even though they push back the birds, the test is considered a failure because the magic stone didn't last long enough. After the battle, they eat a meal made from the Asiato birds. Watching the demi-humans, Uchimura notices that not all of them are strong. Some are small, weak, and poor. This makes him even more determined to finish his mission. Seeing their struggles reminds Sylphid of her own past. She shares that she was born into a family of elven merchants but left after facing hard times. At first, she wanted to help demi-humans, but she forgot that goal while focusing on her research. Uchimura reminds her that scientists exist to help people, which makes her excited about their project again. Determined to solve the problem, Uchimura has a big idea. While talking about cooking food, he realizes that things thought to be useless can actually be helpful if used in a new way. He suggests changing the device so it can scare monsters away instead of fighting them. This would save energy and make weaker magic stones last longer. The next morning, Sylphid works all night again to create the changed Rosemarin device. This version makes a sound that scares away Asiato birds instead of attacking them with magic. When the birds return, they turn on the device, successfully driving them away. Not only does this method work well, but it also uses very little magic power, making it last a long time. The new version of Rosemarin works perfectly. It not only scares away the Asiato birds, but can also protect villages from other magical creatures. The Demon Lord is impressed with Dennosuke and Sylphid's work, and orders Rosemarin to be made in large numbers and sent to villages all over the land. This invention is expected to reduce monster attacks and help farming, benefiting both demons and demi-humans. Sylphid, who had forgotten the true purpose of his research, is inspired by Dennosuke's dedication and creative ideas. He thanks Dennosuke for helping him remember his passion for making magical devices that truly help people. To show his thanks, Sylphid gives Dennosuke a combat magical device loaded with fire magic, making their partnership even stronger. Meanwhile, Omandra becomes jealous of Dennosuke's close work with Sylphid, especially after Oral teases her about it. Omandra confronts Dennosuke, but he assures her that their partnership is purely professional. Now Dennosuke thinks about his role in the demon army and realizes he can't just wait for orders from the demon lord to solve problems. Instead, he needs to find and fix issues himself, showing a big change toward becoming more of a leader. To start, Dennosuke decides to do market research in the busy marketplace of the demon army's castle town and invites Omandra, one of the other big four, to join him. However, Omandra, who has feelings for Dennosuke, thinks the invitation is a date. This leads to some funny moments as she excitedly gets ready for what she believes will be a romantic outing. Before going to the market, Omandra can't decide what to wear. At first, she chooses a revealing battle outfit, thinking it shows off her strength and beauty. But her friend Oral helps her, reminding her that Uchimura is human and might like different things. Oral convinces Omandra to wear a more elegant and modest outfit instead. Though Omandra feels a bit embarrassed, she hopes that Uchimura will notice and like the effort. Dennosuke and Omandra arrive at the marketplace, which is busy and full of merchants selling many different goods. Dennosuke is impressed by the variety of products and how demons and demi-humans trade with each other, thanks to the demon army's policy of joining with various tribes. However, he also notices some problems, especially with the rising prices of gim, the main food of the demon army. As they explore the marketplace, Dennosuke talks with several merchants, gathering information about the economy and the challenges they face. He learns that the high price of gim is because wholesalers are raising prices, which hurts both merchants and buyers. Dennosuke realizes that this issue could cause serious problems for the demon army's stability if not fixed. During their visit, a merchant offers Uchimura and Omandra a pair of matching golden glasses, saying they are a good deal. But he also calls them wedding glasses, which makes Omandra panic. Uchimura, completely unaware of what this means, casually buys them, leaving Omandra flustered. She wonders if he knows what he just did, but he stays focused on gathering market information. During their market visit, they meet Gnome, another member of the Big Four. She is out shopping as part of a tradition called Ruya, where gifts are exchanged as a sign of appreciation. But their conversation is interrupted when a worried shopkeeper and his wife approach Gnome, begging for help. They explain that their store, which sells chimozu, a food similar to mochi, is about to close down. A large merchant named Butagalian placed a huge order, only to cancel it at the last moment, leaving them with too much unsold food. Hearing this, Uchimura becomes interested. He learns that chimozu is an old-fashioned food, mostly eaten by old people, and its popularity has been going down. The cancellation of such a large order means they have to sell 300 servings by the end of the day, or they will have to close the shop. Dennosuke, using his office experience, steps in to help. He comes up with a plan to save the store by rebranding chimozu as a trendy modern food rather than an old-fashioned one. He works with the couple to create new recipes and marketing strategies, targeting younger customers who are more willing to try new foods. To do this, Uchimura decides to use holiday marketing. He remembers Gnome's mention of Ruya and its legend. On this day, giving chimozu to a loved one can make their wishes come true. He sees a chance to turn the food into a symbol of love and good luck, similar to how Valentine's Day chocolates or Christmas cakes became popular in his world. Dennosuke and Omandra work together to create a festive atmosphere in the marketplace, offering colorful and creative chimozu dishes that appeal to younger customers. The marketing strategy works well. The story of Ruya catches people's interest, and the colorful chimozu attracts younger customers. Soon, people start buying them not just as food, but as gifts for their loved ones. The demand grows quickly, and the shop soon sells all 300 servings. The owners, very grateful, thank Uchimura for saving their business. The shop owners give them some chimozu as a gift. Omandra hesitates because, according to legend, sharing chimozu with someone on Ruya means you have deep feelings for them. Nervously, she wonders what Uchimura will wish for. But when she finally asks him, he casually says, "The success of my next project." This makes Omandra upset, and she scolds him for being a workaholic who didn't understand the emotional importance of the moment. After successfully helping the chimozu store and completing his market research, Dennosuke reports his findings to the Demon Lord. He highlights the food shortage issue, particularly the rising prices of gim, the main food. To address this, Dennosuke suggests expanding trade with the Golden Country, a neighboring nation known for its vast gold mines. He suggests trading the Rosemarin, a magical device created by Sylphid, in exchange for gold. This trade would not only boost the demon army's economy, but also help solve the food crisis. The Demon Lord is impressed by Dennosuke's strategic thinking, but warns him about the king of the Golden Country, who is known to be a strong and unpredictable leader. Dennosuke reassures the Demon Lord that even if other nations try to copy Rosemarin, they cannot match Sylphid's talent. He emphasizes that while technology can be stolen, talented people cannot, and the demon army's strength lies in its skilled individuals. Uchimura has now been part of the demon army for a few months, months. The time has finally come for his first official business trip as one of the Big Four. He will travel to the Rampage Kingdom, also known as the Land of Gold. The Demon Lord gives him an important job: to make trade deals with the kingdom to get gold for the demon army. This is very important because the army is growing bigger and needs more resources. Uchimura prepares carefully, bringing gifts for the king and packing everything he needs for the trip. Before leaving, Olmandra and the others give Uchimura advice. They warn him that the King of Rampage is young and smart, but can change his mind quickly. If he gets angry, he can be very cruel. Once, he threw a merchant who sold fake goods to the crocodiles. Despite these warnings, Uchimura wants to go alone because this is his first big job as one of the Big Four. When Uchimura arrives in the Rampage Kingdom, he is amazed by the busy marketplace and all the people walking around. He studies the current trade system. The demon army has been trading grains like Gimu, but with more people to feed, they need to find more valuable things to trade. Gold is the answer, and the Rampage Kingdom is the perfect place to get it. Uchimura knows that the future of the demon army depends on his success in these talks. When Uchimura reaches the palace, he learns that meeting the king requires a good reason. Luckily, his title as one of the Big Four is enough to get a meeting. The King of Rampage, a powerful and smart ruler, shows right away that he has studied Uchimura. He knows about his work on fixing problems at home and bringing tribes together. This shows that he takes these talks very seriously. But the king also doesn't trust Uchimura's reasons for coming. He asks why Uchimura didn't come to meet him sooner after getting his new job. Uchimura realizes this is a test. He quickly says sorry and asks for forgiveness, but he knows that the talk has already become a mind game, where the person with more power has the advantage. The king's aggressive attitude puts Uchimura in a tough spot. To calm things down, Uchimura gives the king a fancy silverware set. But this makes things worse. Giving silver to the king of the Land of Gold seems like an insult. The king gets very angry and accuses Uchimura of making fun of him. Seeing his mistake, Uchimura quickly says sorry and offers a second gift, the Rosemarin device. This magical tool, made by the demon army, can scare away magical monsters. Uchimura explains that if used in the kingdom's gold mines, it could drive away rock golems and other creatures. This would mean they wouldn't need to pay for so many guards. The king doubts the device but agrees to test it. During the test, he sends a giant crocodile to attack. Uchimura uses the Rosemarin, and the crocodile runs away right away. Shocked but impressed, the king changes his mind and agrees to buy it. He orders 200 units in just 1 week, a huge request that pushes the demon army's production team to their limits. Back at the demon army's headquarters, Uchimura talks about the king's request with Sylphid and the production team. The demand for 200 units in such a short time is overwhelming, especially since they just started making Rosemarin. At first, Sylphid doesn't want to take on the challenge. She says that rushing production could make the devices work poorly. But Uchimura convinces her by explaining how important it is to keep good trade ties with the Rampage Kingdom. After some arguing, they agree to work very hard to finish the order. Just as they are working hard to fill the first order, Uchimura gets another message from the king. The king, impressed by how well the Rosemarin stones work, asks for 100 more sets. Now they need to make 300 in total. This is a huge chance for the demon army, but it also puts a lot of pressure on Uchimura and the production team to meet the bigger demand in a short time. The stones cost 500,000 G each, which means the total money from 300 sets would be 150 million G. This is a huge amount of money for the demon army, and Uchimura is excited about his successful deal. But the pressure to make 300 sets in such a short time becomes a big challenge, especially since the production system is still new and not ready for such large-scale output. Things seem to be going well until a surprise problem comes up. Just as the demon army gets ready to ship the Rosemarin devices, news comes that the King of Rampage has canceled all future orders. Even worse, he says that he will now buy similar devices from local merchants at half the price. This is a huge shock to Uchimura and his team. Confused and upset, Uchimura starts looking into what happened. He finds out that a rival named Budagarian is making fake Rosemarin devices and selling them cheaply. This suddenly messes up the market, causing chaos. The demon army had already spent a lot to make real Rosemarin devices, and with no money coming in, they face money problems. The loss of gold income threatens their financial stability, and Uchimura's reputation gets hurt. Uchimura's team is angry and upset, and some members blame him for the disaster. Feeling terrible, Uchimura admits it's all his fault. He realizes he got too confident and didn't think about the risks of such a big order, leading to the crisis. After the King of Rampage cancels the orders, Uchimura is in a tough spot. He meets with the Demon Lord to explain what happened. Uchimura tells the whole story, including how he successfully made the initial deal with King Rampage, the unexpected demand for 300 Rosemarin stones, and the sudden cancellation because a competitor offered similar stones at half the price. Uchimura admits he failed to expect the competition and takes full blame for the money loss. The Demon Lord listens carefully and gives Uchimura some advice. He stresses the importance of learning from mistakes and finding new ways to recover. This talk is a turning point for Uchimura. He starts to think about his approach and gets ready to take action to fix things. Determined to recover from the setback, Uchimura focuses on finding a solution. He starts by saying sorry to the key officials in the demon army, assuring them that he is working on a plan. While working, Uchimura is surprised when Omandra suddenly shows up and invites him to dinner. She cooked roasted meat using the slow cooking method he taught her, though she jokes that waiting around a fire isn't really her style. This funny, relaxed moment lifts Uchimura's spirits. He realizes that even in this tough situation, he's not alone. He still has friends like Omandra, Oral, Sylphid, and Genome supporting him. As they eat, Oral joins them, bringing fruit to share. The friendly gathering reminds Uchimura that setbacks are part of the journey, and he is not alone in overcoming challenges. With new determination, he prepares to launch a counter-strategy against Butigarian and regain control of the market. Meanwhile, we discover that a merchant named Butigarian is now selling similar Rosemarin devices at half the price. When the king asks Butigarian about who he is, he refuses to tell, calling it top secret. This makes people suspect spying or betrayal. After the setback with the Rampage Kingdom, Uchimura wants to find out how fake Rosemarin devices appeared so quickly in the market. He knows that making an exact copy of such a complex device should take much longer than a month. This means someone must have leaked important information. Meanwhile, Uchimura gets alarming news from Miss Omandra. She tells him that the Rosemarin devices they gave out have stopped working completely. Even worse, broken products have started appearing, forcing them to take back all the devices. This situation puts Uchimura in a difficult position, as the demon army's reputation is at risk. Uchimura starts investigating where the fake devices are coming from. He notices they're appearing in villages that were attacked by magical beasts, places where the demon army had given out real Rosemarin devices. This makes him think someone stole the real devices and replaced them with fakes to resell. Uchimura decides to look into the matter more. He visits a village where the Rosemarin devices were given out and discovers that all the devices have mysteriously disappeared. This confirms his suspicion that the devices are being stolen and sold to the Rampage Kingdom. Uchimura realizes that the thieves are making money without any investment, which explains why they can sell the devices at such a low price. Uchimura realizes he needs to catch the thieves. He comes up with a plan and, with help from Omandra and Oral, collects information on villages that reported problems. But instead of visiting those villages, he picks one that hasn't had any issues yet. His reasoning is simple. If thieves are targeting villages, the next one they plan to hit might be the perfect spot to catch them. Omandra is confused by his approach, but she trusts him and goes along with it. With the help of his colleagues, Uchimura sets up a trap to catch the thieves. He replaces the real Rosemarin devices with copies that look the same but have no magical power. The plan works and the thieves are caught in the act. Uchimura confronts them, demanding to know who sent them to steal the devices. However, the thieves refuse to reveal their boss. Uchimura discovers that a shady merchant named Butigarian is behind the stolen Rosemarin devices. Butigarian, nicknamed the Grim Reaper's Merchant, is famous for making money from war and chaos. He's been stealing the devices and selling them to the Rampage Kingdom at lower prices. The fact that he can copy the devices so quickly suggests he's getting secret help from someone inside the demon army. Meanwhile, Butigarian is in the Rampage Kingdom, celebrating his success. He has managed to deliver another batch of stolen Rosemarin devices to the king. The king, impressed by his speed, praises him for being an excellent merchant. Butigarian is proud of his business skills. He says his success is easy to achieve. Buy things at a low price, sell them at a high price, and do what it takes to make the most money. Uchimura decides to take action against Butigarian. He sets up a meeting with the king of Rampage and presents evidence of Butigarian's theft. The king, who had previously canceled his orders with the demon army, is furious when he learns that Butigarian has been selling him inferior products. Butigarian is arrested, and Uchimura's plan to expose him succeeds. As Butigarian is dragged toward the execution pit, he panics. He begs for his life, offering all his wealth to the king in exchange for mercy. But the king remains unmoved. Just as he is about to be thrown to the crocodiles, Uchimura steps in. Everyone is shocked. Why would Uchimura, the one who exposed Butigarian, now try to save him? Uchimura explains that while Butigarian is a criminal, killing him would be a waste. He argues that Butigarian's skills and connections are too important to lose, especially since he's the only one who can get orange powder, a rare resource critical for gold mining in the kingdom. Without it, the economy would collapse. The king is impressed by Uchimura's clever thinking and agrees to spare Butigarian. Butigarian feels ashamed but knows he can't refuse. Uchimura reveals a surprise. He's brought back Butigarian's old workers, kids Butigarian once saved from war zones and raised like family. Now grown up, they still see him as their leader. When Butigarian sees them again, he feels many emotions. For the first time, he realizes how much trust and responsibility he'd ignored by leaving them. With this, Budagarian agrees to Uchimura's terms. He will now manage the official sales of Rosemarin devices under the Demon Army's oversight. This will ensure fair prices and stop fake devices from spreading. The crisis is solved, and the Demon Army gains a new ally, even if he's not very happy about it. Uchimura's clever solution impresses everyone, especially the Demon Lord. By turning an enemy into an ally, Uchimura not only fixed the immediate problem, but also created a new opportunity for the Demon Army. Budagarian's network and business skills will now work for them instead of against them. Back at the Demon Army headquarters, Uchimura is welcomed as a hero. His success in handling the crisis has earned him respect from his colleagues. Even Olmandra, who was initially skeptical of his abilities, now sees him in a new light. She admits that his approach, though different from the traditional demon way of solving problems, is effective and valuable. The Demon Lord calls a meeting to discuss the lessons learned from this experience. He points out that Uchimura's success came from his unique perspective as someone from another world. Instead of using force or magic, he used strategy and understanding of human nature to solve the problem. This approach, the Demon Lord suggests, could be the key to the Demon Army's future success. As the meeting ends, the Demon Lord gives Uchimura a new challenge: to continue building relationships with other kingdoms and expand the Demon Army's influence through trade rather than conquest. This marks a significant shift in the Demon Army's strategy, one that could change the future of their world. Next day, Uchimura and the others return to the Demon Lord's castle. A new challenge waits for Uchimura: fixing the rising cost of gim, a basic food that everyone needs. The story begins when an advisor rushes to Uchimura with bad news. Gim prices have jumped so high that regular people can no longer afford to buy it. Demon Lord says, "This is a serious problem and I want you to fix this right away." Uchimura nods and starts looking into the problem. He soon finds out that there is less gim in the market than before, which has caused prices to shoot up. The main cause of this problem is a powerful guild that controls how gim moves from farms to markets. "I think they're keeping gim locked away on purpose," Uchimura tells his team. "They want to create a shortage so they can charge more money and make bigger profits." To learn more, Uchimura decides to visit the guild in person. He asks Sylphid to come with him. Sylphid disguises herself as an elf to help Uchimura get into the guild building without raising suspicion. When they arrive at the guild, the master, Viper Lordpent, makes them wait for hours in a small room. This is a trick to show that he doesn't think Uchimura is important. Viper says sorry to keep you waiting when he meets them, though his voice shows he isn't sorry at all. Uchimura is shocked when he learns that Viper is actually Sylphid's younger brother. The two siblings clearly don't get along. Sylphid speaks harshly about Viper and the whole Lordpent family, calling them corrupt and greedy. Uchimura says, "I want to buy gim for the Demon Army trying to stay calm and professional." Viper laughs at Uchimura and say, "If you're really serious, then get down on the floor and beg slash." Uchimura thinks about the hungry people who need food. He swallows his pride and gets down on the floor, willing to do whatever it takes to help them. Viper laughs even harder and says, "But since you're so eager, I'll sell you gim for 50,000 G per bag. This price is 5 times higher than normal." Despite this unfair deal, Uchimura doesn't give up. He is determined to find a way to expose the guild's dirty tricks and bring gim prices back down. Later, Sylphid tells Uchimura about her family's dark history. "The Lordpent family has done terrible things," she says with sadness in her eyes. "They've burned down elven villages and even sold their own people as slaves. I left because I couldn't stand their greed and cruelty anymore." While walking through the guild building, Uchimura meets a young girl named Nea. She works for the guild but looks unhappy and afraid. She quietly pleads for help, revealing that the Lordpent family is behind a scheme. They are spreading false rumors about an impending disaster to manipulate gim prices. By stockpiling large amounts early and selling them off gradually, they maximize their profits at the expense of others. Uchimura promises to help Nea and to expose what the guild is doing. He plans a surprise check of the guild's warehouses to find proof that they're hiding gim and manipulating prices. But when Uchimura and his team arrive to inspect the guild, they find no gim and no signs of wrongdoing in the guild's record books. The warehouses are empty and all the paperwork looks clean. Despite this setback, Uchimura doesn't give up. He sits down to think about what happened. After analyzing the situation, he realizes that the transactions were never recorded in the guild's official books. Instead, they were conducted under the Lordpent family's name, allowing them to make private deals while keeping the guild's involvement hidden. The missing gim is still a mystery until Nea overhears a conversation. She learns that the gim was loaded onto caravans that patrol the frontier, making it impossible to track. Uchimura realizes that someone must have warned the guild about their inspection, an informant within the Demon Army. His suspicion falls on Nea, and when he confronts her, she breaks down in tears. She confesses that Viper had forced her to spy on them, threatening her family's safety. Despite her actions, she expresses her hatred for him and everything he stands for. Nea then shares her sad past. She grew up in a low-ranking branch of the Lordpent family, where people treated her like she was worthless. Viper forced her into slavery and abused her. Later, the Lord Pen sent her to spy on Uchimura, ordering her to trick him and report back everything he said and did. But Nea secretly wants to break free from their control. Uchimura believes her story and starts planning his next move. He decides to use the wyverns that Omandra recently captured as part of his plan. Wyverns are dangerous flying dragons that attack towns in large groups. They cause chaos and destruction wherever they go. Omandra recently defeated about 30 of them to protect the northern regions, showing her amazing strength and bravery. The shortage of Gim continues to cause problems throughout the land. People are hungry and time is running out. Uchimura knows he must act fast to stop Viper Lordpen's control over the food supply. After thinking hard, Uchimura creates a plan called Dragon Strike. He decides to cook and distribute large amounts of smoked wyvern, a famous and delicious dish to help with the food crisis. He orders the ogres in the army's kitchens to prepare as much smoked wyvern as possible. The food must be sent to all the areas struggling with hunger. But this is only part of his clever strategy. His true goal is to trade smoked wyvern with neighboring countries in exchange for Gim. This way, he can bypass the guild's monopoly completely. Uchimura, Umandra, and the ogres work through the night to prepare the smoked wyvern meat. This food is not only tasty, but also very nutritious. It stays good for a long time and is easy to transport. If Uchimura's plan works, it will break the guild's control over Gim once and for all. Umandra is impressed by Uchimura's plan, but she also notices that Uchimura has a new assistant, the young girl named Nea. Umandra feels suspicious about her, sensing something isn't quite right. Uchimura reassures them, explaining that Nea is only helping out and there's no need to worry. What Umandra doesn't know is that Uchimura has a plan for Nea too. From the beginning, he suspected her true situation. Even though he knew she was a spy, he chose to trust her. He believes she was a victim of Viper's abuse, not a willing traitor. But Uchimura is also using Nea for his own plan. He and his allies discuss their strategy right in front of her, knowing she will secretly tell Viper about it. This is exactly what Uchimura wants. As the Dragon Strike plan begins, Viper and his allies in the guild learn about Uchimura's actions. They start planning how to fight back, confident that no other food can replace Gim. Meanwhile, Nea struggles with her feelings. Viper ordered her to sabotage Uchimura's plans, but she admires his kindness and determination. She feels torn between her fear of her cruel master and her respect for Uchimura. She knows she must choose a side soon. Viper Lord Pent remains confident in his position. He believes that Uchimura's plan to distribute smoked wyvern will fail, and that the guild's control over Gim cannot be broken. Viper laughs as he speaks to his allies, dismissing the demon army's efforts. He sees no threat in their actions, confident that once the smoked wyvern runs out, people will have no choice but to buy Gim at inflated prices. Viper's overconfidence blinds him to Uchimura's real plan. He doesn't realize that Uchimura has already arranged to import huge amounts of Gim from nearby countries, trading smoked wyvern for it. The next morning, the demon army begins giving out food. Instead of starting in the outer areas of the city as Viper expected, they begin right in the central streets. This catches everyone by surprise. As people receive free food, the demand for expensive Gim drops immediately. Viper had planned to sell his hidden stock of Gim at an even higher price once people became desperate with hunger. Now his plan is ruined because people have another food option. At the same time, Viper's caravan, which was carrying more Gim for him to sell, doesn't arrive on time. This delay wasn't an accident. Uchimura had planned for it. He used his connections with other merchants to slow down Viper's supply chain, making sure the food arrived too late to make a profit. Viper's sister marches into his office, her voice cold. "Your plan failed," she says. "You've lost everything." She tells him that Uchimura already brought in Gim from other countries, making Viper's hidden supply useless. That's impossible. Viper yells. "He couldn't set up such a big trade so fast. You underestimated him," his sister says. Uchimura isn't like other merchants. He plans ahead and is always ready for the worst. She tells Viper that his greed and pride led to his downfall. Instead of working with others, he tried to control everything for himself. Now the guild members have turned against him, and there is no way for him to recover. With Uchimura's support, Nea gains confidence and speaks boldly to the gathered guild members. She calls out Viper and the Lord Pent family for ruling through fear and using the guild for their own profit while the people suffer. Her voice grows stronger as she urges everyone to take back the guild and restore its true purpose, serving the people. The merchants agree with her and decide to remove Viper and the Lord Pent family from power. Viper, feeling trapped and desperate, tries to hold on to his position, but it's no use. The guild members, tired of his cruelty, all vote to remove him. With Uchimura and his team's help, Viper is arrested and will face punishment for his crimes. The once powerful guild leader now has nothing, as his control crumbles around him. As guards take Viper away, the people of the demon realm celebrate their victory. The economy begins to stabilize, food prices return to normal, and the guild's corruption is finally cleaned out. Uchimura feels relieved but knows there is still much work to do. Later, Uchimura surprises Nea by offering her a new job to be his personal secretary. He gives her a choice: remain a pawn of corrupt leaders or help create a better future. With tears in her eyes, Nea accepts his offer, ready to start a new chapter in her life. Just as things seem to calm down, a new crisis emerges. Early one morning, as the sun begins to rise, the Demon Lord looks out from his castle window and says, "Has it finally happened? The trouble has started." Umandra hurries to Uchimura, her voice filled with worry. She warns him that wyverns are attacking the northern areas, even reaching the city and causing massive destruction. The situation is so severe that the Demon Lord has declared it a disaster and ordered the entire army to fight back. Uchimura, along with Omandra and Nea, travels to Demon Fort, the largest fortress of the demon army. The fortress sits near the country's borders and has successfully stopped the wyvern invasion until now. But the situation has changed. The wyverns now focus all their attacks on this one fortress, making it very difficult for the defenders to hold their ground. Uchimura has never seen such a disaster before. He remembers stories about past disasters that were extremely tragic, where some countries completely disappeared because of them. The Demon Lord gives special missions to each member of the Big Four. Sylphid must patrol the area, investigate, and find ways to stop the wyvern attacks. The other three members, including Uchimura, must push back the invasion. Soon, he and Omandra join the troops at the front line near Demon Fort. The fort isn't just one building, but 3 fortresses built near the national borders to protect the demon army's territory. So far, the fortresses have managed to stop the wyverns, but the battle is far from over. Among the 3 fortresses, one faces a much heavier attack than the others. Uchimura and his team arrive at this fortress, which is under the greatest pressure. As they approach, a guard steps forward and says, "You have finally arrived. I've been waiting for a long time. Welcome to the Fortress of Despair." Uchimura looks closely and realizes the guard is actually Genome, one of the smartest officers in the army. Genome acknowledges Uchimura's efforts against the corrupt guild, showing respect for his actions. He mentions that people see him as a hero who ended fear and brought hope. Confident in Uchimura's abilities, Genome expresses his belief that he will solve the problems in their current situation as well. Suddenly, a loud alarm rings throughout the fortress, warning that the wyverns are attacking again. The commander shouts orders to everyone. The soldiers just went to rest, but the wyverns have returned. Get ready to fight back. The situation quickly becomes chaotic. Uchimura sees that the enemy attacks from many directions at once. The wyverns swoop down from all sides, and some of the defenders run in confusion. The commander issues strategic orders to his troops. He instructs the demi-human soldiers to avoid close combat and target the enemy's eyes. Meanwhile, he commands the demons to hold their ground and strike swiftly once the enemies get closer. Omandra jumps into action. She releases her fiery magic, turning into a raging flame as she attacks the wyverns. With a powerful blast of energy, she knocks down several dragons, showing her incredible strength and fighting skills. During the intense battle, many soldiers get hurt. Uchimura quickly orders his team to help the wounded. Even in the middle of fighting, the army shows they care for each other. After the battle, Uchimura offers food to Genome, who looks tired. But Genome refuses, saying, "My appetite isn't as big as a demon's." Genome realizes that Uchimura has no combat skills and directly points it out. Uchimura admits he is not a fighter. Instead of dismissing him, Genome advises him to use his strengths in other ways. He then asks for Uchimura's thoughts on the fortress, seeking his insight. Uchimura takes a deep breath and begins to explain what he has observed. He tells, "This fortress has serious internal problems. Demons and demi-humans are forced to live together, but there's a deep divide between them." He explains that while they should work together, their different fighting styles and old grudges create constant conflict. Demons are great at one-on-one combat, but don't work well in teams. Demi-humans are excellent at teamwork, but weaker individually. This difference makes it hard for them to fight as one unified force, leading to disorganized defenses. Uchimura identifies 2 major problems, starting with logistics. He explains that the fortress requires essential supplies like water, bandages, repair tools, clothes, weapons, and, most importantly, food. The current stock is insufficient, leading to tensions among the demi-humans, as demons consume much more due to their strength and magical energy. The second big issue is racial conflict. Deep-rooted grudges and hatred between demons and demi-humans, built over years of fighting, continue to cause tension. Even small arguments can quickly grow into larger battles if we don't address these problems. To fix these issues, Uchimura shows everyone a map of the fortress. He points out its well-planned streets, which allow for fast movement of supplies. Then he he points to an abandoned village behind the fortress. Uchimura suggests using a nearby village as a new base, believing it could help manage supplies more efficiently and ease tensions between demons and demi-humans. Though surprised by the idea, the leaders agree that it could solve logistical problems and improve organization. He then presents his sword and shield strategy. Under this plan, demi-humans will serve as a shield, blocking enemy attacks, while demons will act as the sword, striking with speed and power. As he addresses the gathered soldiers, he urges them to set aside their differences and work as a unified team. His words ignite a spark of hope, and the soldiers cheer, their fear replaced with determination. The leaders bow their heads respectfully as Uchimura leaves the room. Outside, the sun begins to rise, painting the sky with orange and pink colors. The soldiers start preparing for a new day of battle. Uchimura calls out to them one last time, "Remember, we must work together as one." The soldiers respond with loud cheers, and the sound of drums marks the beginning of a new day. Hope fills every heart in the fortress. But just when the soldiers think the battle might be over, the wyverns return in even greater numbers. The fortress faces another large-scale attack. Soldiers panic as the wyverns break through the outer defenses. Uchimura quickly assesses the situation and takes command. "Follow the plan," he shouts above the noise of battle. Following Uchimura's tactics, the soldiers regroup. He instructs the archers to aim for the wings instead of the body, forcing the wyverns to crash onto the ground. Once the creatures fall, the ground troops surround them and attack as one unit. Uchimura also organizes a defensive formation, with the demi-humans acting as a shield, while the demon warriors focus on heavy attacks. Within hours, the strategy works perfectly. The wyverns cannot keep up with the well-coordinated attacks, and one by one, they fall in defeat. Just as the soldiers begin to relax, a messenger rushes in, panic written on his face. He delivers shocking news. 2 other fortresses are also under attack. But unlike their battle with wyverns, those fortresses are facing an even greater threat: dragons. Dragons are much more powerful than wyverns. They're larger, stronger, and have more dangerous magical abilities. This news sends a wave of fear through the fortress. Meanwhile, Almandra fights against a powerful dragon. The dragon's attack is so strong that it throws her backward, making her crash into some ruins. She hits the ground hard and lies still for a moment. Seeing her hurt, Uchimura runs to help her. "Almandra, get up!" he shouts, his voice filled with worry. Uchimura looks around and sees Almandra lying on the ground, not moving. His eyes widen in fear. The strong and brave warrior, who always seemed invincible, now lies still and silent. Omen Draw was injured while fighting a powerful dragon. Uchimura was worried about Human Draw. He went to check on her. Neha was there and taking care of everything. She told Uchimura not to worry too much human. Dara wasn't hurt very badly by the dragon, but she used up almost all her magic power. She is very tired and needs a lot of time to rest and get her strength back. Uchimura felt relieved she was alive, but also felt guilty. He thought maybe he should not have sent her away from the main fight earlier. As if hearing him, Amanda mumbles in her sleep, telling Uchimura he needs to eat more meat. Even when weak, she still thinks about others. Uchimura thanks Neha for her help. He knows the castle is safe for now because Andra fought so hard, but the danger isn't over. The threat of wyvern attacks continues. Sylphide reports that the wyverns stay near a lake after attacking the north. They hit many places, including the Rabido tribe's village, Popon town, and even the Ogre village. Arl worries about her friends who got hurt in the Ogre village. Uchimura tells her to go home to check on them, promising that he will handle things. Okamura faces a tough challenge with a Mandara and Orgon Nome defending the fortress, and Sylphide surveying the field. He must manage everything alone. Though tired from staying up all night, he pushed himself to work harder. He needed to figure out why the wyverns attacked certain places while struggling to stay awake. Uchimura meets the Demon Overlord. The Demon Overlord orders Uchimura to sleep. Chuchu Moore tries to argue that this is a crucial time, but the Demon Overlord explains that a tired strategist makes bad plans. The lives of many people depend on his clear thinking. Uchimura realizes this wisdom and gets some rest. After sleeping, Uchimura feels refreshed and ready to solve the wyvern problem. He returns to the fortress, where he meets Gome, standing in front of all the soldiers. Uchimura announced his breakthrough plan, called Last Rebellion, explaining that they faced tough times with fewer soldiers and supplies. Uchimura explained his discovery about the wyverns they target women, especially those with high magical powers. He noticed that when female soldiers left one fortress, the wyverns attacked other places that still had women. He believes wyverns prefer to eat females because they provide more nutrition. His plan uses this knowledge against the wyverns. Female demons will act as bait to lure the wyverns. Then, both demons and demi-humans will attack together to defeat them. Many soldiers worry about this risky plan, especially without a mantra who always boosted their spirits. Uchimura gave a powerful speech to inspire everyone. He admits he is not a hero with special powers. He reminds them that the demon army includes both strong and weak members from different races and tribes. He tells them there are no heroes who can save them alone, but together they can protect their homes and families. His words give everyone courage to fight. After his speech, Gnome asks you tomorrow what happens if they fail. He admits he feels worried, but knows they must succeed. Gnome comforts him like her mother once did for her. She reminds him that he has friends to rely on. Operation Last Rebellion begins. The wyverns approach as expected, drawn to the female demons gathered in the center. Male demons surround the females while demi-humans defend the fortress. When the wyverns come close, they attack with everything they have. The battle becomes intense. Wyverns attack from multiple directions, and Uchimura must constantly adjust their defense. He directs soldiers to attack different sides as new waves of wyverns appear. Though not physically strong, he stands firm on the battlefield and does what he can do. Kimura panics, not knowing how to face such a monster. At this critical moment, Luminara arrives despite not fully recovering. She jokes that she heard everyone was in danger and couldn't sleep, but another wyvern attacks her from behind. Though she acts tough in front of Okumura, she has little strength or magic power left home. Ondra remembers Uchimura has teachings about fighting efficiently. She uses her limited magic for maximum effect with a new move called Flash Fang. Sylphide and Nome also arrive to help. Together, the 4 elite generals defeat the remaining wyverns. They believe they won, but Uchimura notices something strange. The flying monsters took their food away instead of eating it right away. Uchimura wondered who they were giving the food to. All of a sudden, the ground started shaking. What they thought was a mountain started to move. It turned out to be a giant monster. The real danger? The demon overlord arrives and takes charge. He declares that the 4 elite generals did their duty, but now he will handle the calamity himself. He faces the monster in an epic battle, using powerful magic called Conceptual Ritual. He unleashes devastating attacks named Megadeath and Gigadeath. The enormous creature falls before his might. After defeating the calamity, the demon overlord tells Okumura to announce their victory. As Commander Uchimura proudly declares their mission accomplished, everyone celebrates their hard-won victory through teamwork and clever strategy. They survived the violent attacks and defeated the calamity. Even without heroes with special powers, their combined strength proved enough to overcome the greatest of threats. After their victory against the calamity, the demon army celebrates their success. The demon overlord gathers his 4 elite generals to honor them for their brave actions. Everyone stands tall and proud as the demon overlord calls each of their names. When he reached Uchimura, he gave him special praise and a medal for his leadership during the battle. After the ceremony, the demon overlord asks Uchimura to stay behind for a private talk in this private meeting. The demon overlord asks which more. Something unexpected and shocking. He wants Uchimura to become a king, which Amara cannot believe. What he hears him a king that seems impossible. The demon overlord explains that in this world, kings are chosen based on their power. The one who can defeat a calamity becomes the ruler, even if they lack leadership skills. This system has created many bad kings who hurt their people. The demon overlord wants to change this by making Uchimura a new kind of king. You can. Mora feels very small compared to the demon overlords. Requests memories from his old job in his original world. Flood back his bosses constantly put him down, ignored his ideas, and moved him from place to place. These painful memories made him doubt himself. You can. Mora believes he lacks the confidence and strength to be a king. The demon overlord sees Uchimura as fear. He asks what holds Uchimura and back from reaching his full potential. He points out that Uchimuret always follows orders well, but never steps beyond them. The demon overlord challenges Uchimura to choose between staying safe or pushing through the pain to grow. The demon overlord told him that if he didn't want to become king, he would send him back to his world. Feeling overwhelmed, Uchimura asks for time to think. He believes he cannot meet the demon overlord's expectations in his mind. The only option is to resign from the Big Four and return to his original world. Uchimura writes a resignation letter and starts preparing to say goodbye to everyone. Uchimura cleans his office and sorts through papers. Feeling sad about leaving, he finds a thank you letter from the team. Ozu's settled couple he helped earlier. They wrote how their business now thrives thanks to his ideas. Reading this makes saying goodbye even harder before submitting his resignation. Uchimura decides to visit his fellow elite generals. He first meets Nome, but before he can mention his plan to leave, she shows him something amazing. The demon troops and demi-humans now train together, copying the strategy Uchimura created separated during their battle with the Calamity. Nome admits she worries about leading both groups, but remembers what Uchimura taught her: you cannot fear, change, or deny your potential. Next, Uchimura visits Sylphide. She proudly shows him a new project. She started breeding gym plants to solve the food shortage. Sylphide admits she avoided this work before calling it not her expertise. Meeting the villagers reminded her why she gained her powers to help people. She thanks Uchimura for helping her face her true calling, and encourages him to face his own heart to finally. Uchimura meets Umeda, who seems upset that he visited the others first. When Uchimura shares his troubles about the demon overlord asking him to be king well, Mandara surprises him with her reaction. She tells him his biggest problem is not showing his weakness enough. She reminds him they are friends and tells him to rely on her more. Even if everyone else loses faith in him, she promises to stay by his side. These supportive words from his friends make Uchimura emotional. He never expected such kindness at his previous job. People always pushed him down or took credit for his work. But here his colleagues believe in him and push him to be better. With a new understanding, Uchimura returns to the demon overlord. He said that becoming a powerful king like the demon overlord seemed too hard for him, but he wanted to try to find a new way to be a king, a way that wasn't just about being strong. The demon overlord liked this idea and told Uchimura they would try to become the best together. Kimura returns to work with fresh energy and purpose. He handles invitations from the Rampage Kingdom, plans inspections of the southern area, and discusses various projects with his assistants, Alulu and Nia. He now understands that he does not need to face challenges alone. He has friends who support him and believe in his abilities well. Mandara invites Uchimura to toast to his future using the pair of special glasses they bought together at the market, but Uchimura casually mentions he gave his glass to the demon overlord as a gift. This news shocks all Mantra completely, she remembers. Those were wedding glasses, according to the merchant, and giving one away has a special meaning. She thought Uchimura understood. Through this experience, Uchimura learns an important lesson: the limits we place on ourselves often hold us back more than any outside force. By accepting help from friends and believing in himself, Uchimura takes his first step toward becoming a new kind of leader, one who leads not through power, but through understanding, compassion, and wisdom. Will you tomorrow succeed in becoming a different kind of king? What challenges await the 4 elite generals? Next, find out in future episodes of Headhunted to Another World. If you enjoyed this recap, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more episode summaries. Don't miss the next exciting chapter in Uchimura's journey. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. If you enjoyed the journey, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic content. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't miss out on the next video. There's always more fun, surprises, and challenges ahead. Until next time, stay awesome and keep exploring.